What's up guys, Mitchell Watts with Town & Country TV, and today we are talking about the future of the car industry. Specifically, right around what does an interest rate and the rising interest rates, how does that affect the car market? Juan sent me a DM on Instagram. He follows me, and you should too. Shameless plug. The Instagram handle is Mitchell S. Watts. But anyways, he wrote to me, how are higher interest rates affecting the prices on cars? I know that they affect home sales. I just wanted to know if they affect cars in any way. And that is a fantastic question. To find out what impact interest rates have on the car market, I think it's fair to say that we need to see what interest rates have done historically. Now, for this video, I'm going to look at like just the last few years. We're not going to go back to like something like 1976 and look at interest rates from them. But so staying focused to the relatively recent, in December of 2018, the average APR for a 60-month auto loan was almost 5%, 4.96%. Keep in mind that is an average, meaning that some loans have a significantly higher interest rate for subprime and some have significantly lower. This is an average. But in December of 2021, a few years later, the 60-month rate averaged 3.85%. For reference, I do want to tell you that in 2018, there were 17.2 million new cars sold, and then in 15 million cars in 2021. By the way, this is new car sales only. But the funny thing about those interest rates that I just listed, the 4.96 and then the 3.85, that is the highest and the lowest averages since 2014. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's extremely rare to see an interest rate, an average interest rate, move 1 to 1.5%. That swing is very, very rare. So for this example, let's pretend that interest rates increased by 1%. Kind of look at a worst case scenario. On a $50,000 vehicle purchase, it's a lot of money, but that'll cost you an extra $500 per year in interest. Or you can calculate that out, $41 more per month based on interest alone. Now that is a lot of money. I'm not going to sit here and act like it isn't, but it can be offset by quite a few different things when you're buying a car. You have a more fuel efficient vehicle or a car that requires less maintenance, that kind of a thing. Now let's shift gears for just a second and let's talk about historically what have auto prices done. You know, rising interest rates, it does make it more expensive to operate the vehicle. But more importantly, the price of some of these cars is getting out of control, and I do mean that. Vehicles are increasing in a price that is much faster than the inflation found in the rest of our economy. So since this year is not done, and we're also talking about a lot of crazy inflation in 2022, we're not going to cover this particular year. So just kind of keep that in mind. We're going to cut this year out. And by the way, if you're hoping this video is going to be political, I'm sorry to let you down. Yes, I do have my own political leanings, but I refuse to talk about politics here. You can get all that kind of garbage from another YouTube channel. So anyways, to show you how out of control these current prices are on some of these vehicles, I want to give you a little bit of an example that is kind of personal to me. Some of you OGs, you may remember the 2017 F-150 Raptor that I had. It was actually sold brand new in 2017, and it had an MSRP of $66,385. That Raptor, it pretty much had every option under the sun, everything that was available at that time anyways. And when you fast forward to current year, you have a comparably equipped 2022 Raptor. The MSRP on that thing is $83,730. Now, I understand that the 2022, it's a better vehicle, it's got more to offer, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, this Raptor has had a 26% increase in price, while the rest of the economy had a cumulative rate of inflation at 20.9%. The Raptor has outpaced inflation by 5%. Let that sink in. In the example of the Raptor, you're talking about a $17,345 price increase. And that price increase, it will cost you big time on the monthly payment. Anywhere from like $290 all the way up to $340 per month, if my redneck arithmetic is right. Now, keep in mind that does depend on things like the term, the loan term, the interest rate, and the cash down, and a couple of other things. But that's a lot of money. Now, these prices are across the board. So I don't want you thinking this is just like, oh, it's just because it's a Raptor, it went up in price. Because in January of 2018, the average new vehicle sold for $36,270, according to Kelley Blue Book, KBB.com. But in June of 2022, that price was at $48,043. You're talking about an increase of price of $11,773. That's a 32% increase in price. Compare that to the rest of the economy. Once again, the cumulative average rate of inflation, it only had 18% of inflation during that same time period. So I guess what I'm trying to say is new vehicle prices across the board are outpacing inflation by 14%. Even if I'm half wrong, there's still a pretty big problem here. But anyways, interest rates, they do affect cars and they do affect homes. But I personally believe that the home buyers are much more sensitive to interest rates than car buyers. You know, when that interest rate of the car goes up by 1% on that $50,000 vehicle, your payment's going to be $42 higher simply due to interest. But when you're buying a newer vehicle, as I've already mentioned to you, might be more fuel efficient, and a couple of other things that can help offset those costs. But that same 1% rate of increase on a $400,000 home, that jacks up the payment by $333 a month. Listen, interest rates can and absolutely do deter some people from buying cars. But I think the main deterrent will eventually be the overall price of the vehicle. Speaking of overall price, have you ever wondered why vehicles are so expensive right now? Here's the short answer: supply and demand. It's really that easy. But seriously, due to COVID, and the whole world shutting down for a long period of time, when everyone finally came out of their caves, they had this renewed desire to see this great country. Everyone is now starting to travel again. And so we're dealing with near record demand, but the supply of the product still hasn't caught up from being shut down. Now, high demand and low supply equals high prices. Just recently, Ford had a price increase on the F-150 Lightning. They increased the price nearly $9,000 on some trim levels. And I don't have any insider information, but I think I have an idea of what's going on here. You have 200,000 pre-orders, and Ford knows that they can't build that many Lightnings. So what do? You raise the prices. What that'll do is knock out a few people from being able to buy that truck. But even with that price increase, Ford will still sell every one of those trucks that they can build for the next 5 years. The truck is that good and the demand is that strong. And it's the same story with the Bronco. They have even shut down the retail order banks for a period of time just to give them an opportunity to try and catch up on orders. But the last thing I want to talk about is special interest rates. Before COVID, most manufacturers had some kind of a special interest rate. These were things like 0% for 72 months on select vehicles. Those programs, they did help us sell cars. I've been in the car industry pretty much my whole life, and I've seen it work. But at the end of the day, they are just programs. The manufacturer of the vehicle would put that special program out there in hopes of selling a slower moving vehicle. Most of the time you had to give up all rebates that you would have otherwise gotten. And since we're living in a supply constrained world and there's no inventory anywhere, it seems like most of those programs have disappeared, and so have the interest rates, the special interest rates. But if the demand for a vehicle ever drops off, the manufacturer can just offer it at any point they want to. And believe me, that special rate will have a big impact on car sales simply because the manufacturer can just turn it on, turn it off at the drop of a hat. They have total control over their special programs because it is a direct cost to them at the end of the day. But where they don't have control over is the interest rates that your local credit union or bank can have to offer. And there you have it, a detailed look at how interest rates affect the car industry. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you're feeling like being awesome, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. I love making this kind of content for you guys because I've had so much experience in the car business that I feel like I should just share it with you guys. So if you like this type of content, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, we are a dealership, so we know what we're talking about, that doesn't charge over MSRP for a lot of vehicles. So a lot of what we're talking about, this is the place you want to get in and order a vehicle. So I'll have the phone number right there on the screen if you guys want to reach out to us. But at the end of the day, this video is not intended to sell you anything. It is intended to teach you something, and that way you guys can make an informed decision, whether it's with our dealership or at a dealership across the country. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss a single video. Peace.